How's it going today?
Morning, sir.
Wet from the cooler.
You better stop. Always shake your hand. What's going on, Mutha Truckers? We're hanging out here. All I gotta say is Sarah's like one of my really great friends, especially when we go to truck shows. I see this man. I've been trying to catch you for the longest time.
It's been a while.
I love you, brother, and I'm glad to have you on. And I've been wanting to highlight you because, you know, when you think of trucking, you think about the hard work and you think about someone that cares about their equipment. I mean, your name always pops up. I always see you, and you know, you make time, and you've always made time for me. So I appreciate you, brother.
You bet, you bet.
You know, so yeah, today we're gonna have a little conversation.
All right.
Yeah. How long you been driving a truck?
I'm just over 30 years. Just over 30 years.
What are you drinking? Elephant smoke? You look like you're 32 years old.
I wish that was the case. No, I'm 53, believe it or not.
30 years.
Yep.
You know, in 30 years, you know, has it changed?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. If it's for the better, I'm not sure, but it was definitely a lot more fun years ago.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot more fun years ago.
Without getting us in trouble here, tell us about that little bit of fun. What was the difference in it? The big difference?
Well, back when I started, it seems like the drivers helped each other out more. You didn't have the cell phones and everything. There'd be nights you'd be traveling down like I-39 Illinois, talking to somebody on a CB, so you're listening to their voice, kind of putting an image in your mind what they look like, and then one of you would say, let's stop and get a coffee or something. So, you know, I'm expecting some big burly guy to get out, and it's some guy that's 5 foot tall and, you know, weighs 100 pounds soaking wet, and, you know, going for coffee, meet each other, and then back down the road we went, you know.
That's awesome, you know. Now, the CB names, how do you get one of those? What's your CB name?
Man, I really haven't had one for a while. I think the last one I had was Psycho. And, well, my first name is Cy, so Cy, and the co was Cy and Company, so.
Yeah, so Psycho is awesome.
Yeah.
So it had nothing to do with the characteristic of being Psycho.
Well, I did go bungee jumping in Vegas that weekend, so I think that might have had a little something to do with it, so.
I love that, you know. So, you know, speaking now, you know, 30 years plus, it's like, you know, what's the big takeaway from this? You know, why do this? You know, some people say it's a lifestyle, it's what you breathe. Why do you do it?
It's definitely a lifestyle, and you know, and I think that's why I prefer to work for the smaller family-owned companies like DSD Transport here, where I'm still allowed to be a captain of my ship. You know, if I call Don, tell him I'm sick, it's road conditions, whatever, if I need to stop and shut down, it's no questions asked. You know, I'm not working for, you know, not that I'm not going to mega carrier, but I don't have one person, you know, somebody over me watching 50 other trucks, making sure all the dots are moving on the computer screen. I mean, it's definitely become a friendship over the years.
I love that.
You know?
So would you say, you know, when looking to work for a company, you know, that should be one of the things that you look for, someone that lets you still be the captain of your own ship?
Oh, I mean, yeah, definitely, you know.
For the new guys, what's the best advice? Because, you know, some of these guys are getting in right now, and they just hear, you know, downturn. It's so hard right now. You know, any advice for those guys to, you know, stay up and keep their chin up high?
Well, it's definitely a lifestyle choice. It is definitely a lifestyle choice. It's not a 7 to 3 o'clock job every day. Your hours vary. You're living out of a duffel bag or suitcase. You know, so you have to be willing to do the lifestyle. That's first and foremost, you know.
You think that's the hardest part for sure?
For sure, and I've been living out of a duffel bag for how many years now? I don't know any different at this point, you know.
I heard that, you know. Let's talk about this. You know, this beautiful truck right here. What's the specs on this? What we got going on?
Well, it's a 2024 Peterbilt 389. It has a 294 wheelbase.
Let's walk around it.
All right, let's check it out. We've got it's an X15 Cummins underneath the hood. Inside, you know, this is the last year of the 389, so I kind of wanted to do this one up a little bit, so did a full-blown Rockwood interior in it. You know, got the marbleized floor, overhead panels, all the panels, the dash. We got some new Rockwood products on it, the dash end caps and the bezel around the screens and stuff. So, yeah, it's definitely something I really enjoy it. I wanted something elegant and simple, and I think I nailed it with that.
Oh, this thing is beautiful. You know, what is this about for you? What does this?
Well, for me, I was in the Army Reserve, so it's a little tribute to our veterans, you know, from all the branches. So all gave some gave all, and then on my floor mats, it's the Pledge of Allegiance on there.
Ain't that something? That's so cool, brother. You know? Yeah, no, this thing is beautiful.
And yeah, it's most of the new trucks. You see a DEF tank on the side, but we had a spare fuel tank in the shop, so we rebarreled it and we hid the DEF tank behind it. So
oh, is that right?
Yep. So kind of giving it that old school look.
Yeah. Look at that. That's cool.
And then a lot of the 70-inch bunks, which this is, you can't get them from the factory with a back window, and I wanted a back window in it, so we put a back window in it at that shop.
Ain't that something? That's cool. And how'd you get this name? What is this about?
Well, you know, I always kind of like to go opposite of Don's. So the first truck that Don had, everybody kind of knew it as high maintenance. The truck's name was actually Paris, as in like Paris Hilton. So, you know, all kind of uppity. So my last truck was blue collar. That one's called Don's big truck, big bunk now is called corporate funded. So I went with hard times. So,
Hard Times.
And if you don't have a Jerry Reed song in your head
Yeah,
right now, I
yeah.
don't think you can be a friend of mine.
Yeah, I love that. That is beautiful, you know. And back here, look at this trailer. What are we working with here?
That's actually it's a 2014 Mack flatbed. We just picked up a contract here early part of the year. We needed a couple more curtains real quick, so we picked this one up. It had a black curtain on it. Changed it over to blue, polished out beam and everything. It's a very nice riding trailer.
You know, for people that want to get a flatbed, how long you been doing flatbed side?
Well, I've been with Don here for 10 and a half years, where it's been like solid flatbed stuff. Prior to that, I was doing some lowboy work, you know, which would probably be the closest thing I did. I did 10 years of that too. So
what's the advice for the people that want to get into the flatbed game? Because, you know, most people, they start with dry van, right?
Okay.
And so one day, some people have aspirations for flatbed. You know, what's the first thing that you should really think about before thinking about doing this for a career?
I would have to say go with safety. Make sure you have your stuff secured properly. If you don't know how to do it, ask somebody. You know, and it's a lot of work too. You start throwing tarps and chains and stuff. I mean, just make sure that stuff is secured, because you never know when that car is going to pull out in front of you, or a deer crosses the road or something like that, where you have to get on the brakes. Just make sure that stuff is secured where it's not coming off.
I love that. You know, and at the end of this, you know, you're a friend, so I feel like I'm just having a conversation.
Right.
You know, how would you like to end this video? What would you like to say to the people out there? Anything to the drivers? Thoughts?
Man, I don't know. There's a lot of thoughts. It's like coming to these shows here. I guess I'm going to go with this route with the truck shows. You know, when I came here, I think it was 3 years ago, the first time I started showing with Don. And one thing that Don told me, he says, if you're coming to a truck show, you're coming for the wrong reason. Or if you're going to the truck show for a trophy, you're going for the wrong reason. And I really didn't understand it at first, but when I came to this show here 4 years ago for the first time, I could count the number of people I knew on one hand. Here we are 3 years later. I can't walk 3 trucks away without bumping into somebody I know. So the friendships and relationships I've built over the last 3 years are priceless. They mean more than any trophy, you know?
I love that. No, I appreciate your time. I'm glad that you and I became friends.
Absolutely.
You know, and,
absolutely.
You know, I'm so happy to call you a friend, and you know, you represent, you know, the word professional truck driver so well.
And that's another thing with these shows too. You know, we try to put a positive light on the trucking industry at these shows. I mean, for all I know, that 10-year-old I talked to yesterday or something, I might have been the inspiration that makes him become a truck driver, you know, 10 years from now. Who knows? You just never know who you're talking to.
I love that. No, I appreciate you for your time, brother.
You bet.
Yeah, we're good.